This conference will now be recorded.
Time is now 6:35 p.m. and I am going to call to order the Tuesday, January 25th, 2022 meeting of the Tilton Planning Board. And our first order of business is the continuation of public hearing for Volt Tanger Factory Outlet Center, Inc. And back in November, it seems even longer ago than that, we had our meeting where we talked about the plans, and for various reasons, it was put on hold. We sent them to the zoning board, and you should have in front of you the ruling of the zoning board. They did approve, but also there's a variance. They approved the variance, but they also had following conditions, which you can read afterwards. And I know one of them, we have to make, I guess, a determination on charges for the town, should we choose to advertise.
Well,
if we
can talk about that.
We'll talk about that later, okay. So I'm gonna make a motion to bring the application form to the table for discussion. There's a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. You want to take a look at that?
There's also a new plan.
This one?
Yeah, because they made some changes based on comments last meeting regarding Starbucks. So that's a revised plan.
Any comments?
I'll make a motion to accept the application as substantially complete.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. All right, and at our last meeting, I guess we've made some changes since our last meeting. If you would like to address those, and I think you all have the new plans, which are changes were made on the plans, I guess, based on what we said at our meeting last time.
Members of the board, Michael Hirschberg for the record from Voltage Charging. From the board's last review of this review of our plans, we did change the location for the locations that were in front of Starbucks to the spot along the drive aisle. If you look at sheet C100, I believe it's 1, 2, 3.
C100?
Yeah, so it's, I'll tell you how many pages in, 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, C1-00, not C100, I apologize. You'll notice that the location at the bottom there, you'll see, which are right at the entrance of the drive aisle. We moved the 2 stations there to remove them away from Starbucks to prevent any form of traffic buildup per the planning board's requirement.
So they were just moved from the middle to the side, right?
Right, yep,
Okay, yeah,
to
yeah.
alleviate any traffic issues.
Remember we talked about the
Yeah,
possibility of congestion?
Is that the only one that has 2 right next to each other? These are so tiny, I can't tell.
Yes, so that has 2 stations right next to one another,
So the rest should be 10.
12 stations in total.
And then 12
Yeah, 12.
stations total, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
so that would be the
Yeah,
2.
yeah.
12, yeah. Was that the only change?
That was the only change from discussions with the planning board.
Any comments, questions?
Well, there's a lot of discussion on the advertising too, I
Yeah.
remember.
And that's why they went to the zoning board to get a variance.
Oh, I didn't.
You have
They
a copy
did.
of that with conditions.
Okay.
Everybody does have a copy of this, right?
Yes.
Thought he was going to speak, so I didn't look.
Yeah, and as you read that, good evening, I'm Michael Dolan on behalf of the applicant Volta Charging. Just to point out that, yes, the planning board had aptly noted that we should go to the zoning board for variances for the off-premises advertising, because some of these national brands aren't per se stores at Tanger outlets. And then generally for the size and number of the display screens on these charging stations, we got a variance for that as well.
Okay, and lighting was addressed too, okay.
What is
So
the,
that
So
demonstrates.
the zoning board addressed a few things,
Yeah.
mainly, one of the explanations that the applicant offered to the zoning board was, the advertisement is necessary to provide free electricity to the consumer. So the zoning board made it a requirement that if at some point they start charging for the electricity, then the variance is null and void. So they can't do both, right? There was concern that, they might do this and then, start charging. So that's one of the requirements they addressed. I thought they did a good job with that. They spoke about the lighting, and they did limit it to 12 units. And they raised the issue of free advertising for the town for public service, Amber Alerts, charrette, if there's road closures, floods, that type of thing. The issue though on how much of that the town will have became a discussion, and they didn't come to a conclusion at the zoning board meeting of they will allow 2%, 10%, anything you want, because obviously the vendor doesn't want all town signage, but it would be on an as-needed basis. So they deferred in their decision to the planning board to come up with a reasonable parameter for how much they would allow, or let the planning board have some discussion on that and what they felt was fair for town advertisements.
And as a follow-up to that, discussion we had. And there was some talk of 2% of the time. We went back and Michael spoke with his bosses and they were comfortable that they could double that up to 4%. As you can well imagine, because the advertising pays for the free electricity,
Right.
we can't get too much above that or then the model doesn't work anymore. But 4% seems great. There's plenty of times you probably won't need anything, but if you do, that 4% is there. We've used it successfully with other cities and towns across the country for COVID announcements, whatever it may be. So we'd love to partner with the town to get you guys plugged in for that.
Leanne, does this dimming, I don't know what 30 to 500 is.
I know, and
Does
you know
that
who
meet
did
our,
that? You know
does
who
that
did that?
meet our lighting?
Somebody in the military.
Matt Gilman, who's a fireman, used
Someone-
that, and I believe it's 12:30 to 5 a.m. is
Yeah,
what that
that's what it
means.
is.
Thought he was going to say.
And
Oh.
that's, and that was based on, they had a lot of discussion about that as well, and I think they based that number on when Starbucks
Is open.
is open or closes down there, so. But again, I guess the lights weren't gonna be any brighter than like the Starbucks board, the menu board and that type of thing, that wouldn't be right on the road, so.
So at full velocity, it meets our lighting requirements?
Yeah, and they have to be enclosed on the top, so there's no eminent light into the
Okay.
sky.
Yeah, okay.
So they'll still have to meet all those requirements. They didn't get a variance for any of that. Just the time, because we say, what, 11 o'clock, I don't know time, so they put it to 12:30 to 5, because again, Starbucks starts at 5 a.m., I think. Mr. Prue said that.
I thought it was like some kind of looms or something.
I know.
Yeah.
30 and 500.
Zulu time.
Yeah.
And the other thing they made a requirement was no advertising, no political signs, no drugs. or
Drugs,
alcohol.
yeah.
Obviously, would be not allowed.
Chairman?
Yes.
I know you were saying that they could advertise all the different things, COVID or town announcements and warnings. But it says town businesses. So town businesses themselves can advertise. on it.
No, I think that maybe, yeah,
Oh,
I covered
not
that in a minute. Is that how it's
businesses,
worded?
business, okay.
Yeah, it's town
All
business,
business.
advertising town business, like not
It just says
businesses.
town
Okay.
business.
It does say
It
business.
says
Is
worded
it-
weird.
So it's business.
It says business.
Town business, that's how he worded it, that when the board spoke, but it's understood to be town business, town,
Town of Tilton business.
Town affairs.
government business, yeah.
So
so-
would that include things like, if they're having a farmer's market somewhere?
Sure.
Christmas parades.
If it's a town-sponsored event, sure.
Yeah, the parade or any of that type of stuff. And I think the charrette, road coasters. I guess I don't have a question. What does 4% mean? That doesn't really mean anything to me on a sign. Does that mean like one a day? Is that 5 minutes a day?
Yeah.
How about it's effectuated?
Yeah. So, I mean, we can certainly, make that, I guess it's just like so if we have, typically the stations have about 4 to 5 flips, right? And so when they change between the different advertisements, so it could be like, I don't know, one every, let's see, if those are all taking up, I guess we could do it in several different ways. So we could either have it as like a running line at the bottom, like you typically see like on a cable TV channel, or we could do it as, every 20, 25 minutes, there'd be something with the town on there, I guess with just town announcements. That wouldn't really capture so much of an audience though. So I guess typically what we've done, is more or less just that we will display typically like a running ad at the bottom that kind of takes up that 4%. What that typically looks like, but we could certainly find another means to, if we want to add a specific flip in there, we could do that as well. Especially, I guess, when there's a lot going on in the town, right? 4th of July, the holidays are coming up, et cetera. We could certainly work with that, and we're more than welcome, more than happy to do that.
Any other comments or questions from the planning board?
I guess we'd have to figure all that out now, right?
I could also, you
Has
know,
to be part of the approval, right?
yeah. I mean, I guess if we could come to an agreement, we can certainly forward on, you know, what we've done. We did COVID stuff with Huntington Beach, California. I can kind of gather more of that and send that to you, Leanne, if that's something that we can just kind of get an example in place, and then from there we can work with it. I mean, certainly willing to do what it takes. So.
See, I envisioned it more as when needed, we would have something on there, not a running.
I think that's what he means.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you need it, it would be a
Okay,
running ribbon.
All right,
Yeah.
okay.
Which is probably a good idea. That's the way, like you see it on the news.
Yeah.
When there's alerts, right? People used to seeing those alerts on the
Yep.
bottom.
Yeah.
Versus waiting for a,
Right, waiting for something that might not come for 25 minutes.
Right.
It's sort of useless.
right, right.
Yeah. Well, and
You only get the person that's there.
when you know, it would be things like, I would think that we do on town alerts, like road closures maybe, or,
Right, that's exactly what we're talking about. Yeah. Emergency type situations or
Amber
something.
Alert,
Home day
Amber
or
Alert.
something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't have that much. It's not like we
No.
need, you know,
Well, that's why when she started talking about the running, that's why I was a little surprised.
I see this proposed underground conduit. This is not conduit that's already there, it's proposed. So you're gonna dig up the pavement?
So we use what's called directional boring. And the way that works is more or less that it creates several.
you should just write into the mic because I have a
Oh.
transcriber that's doing it.
That's right. Sorry about that. So we operate typically in New Hampshire with directional boring. The way directional boring works is that we hire a company to come in. They dig several different bore pits. They then put a device. Everything is utility located in advance. Let me just make sure that that's clear. We're not going to hit anything. Everything's
Right.
marked in advance. We then, once we have a clear path of how we're going to directionally bore, we send a device underground to the next bore pit. That device is then removed. We then dig from that bore pit, we then go to another bore pit to then just bring all of the conduit through in a safe manner that doesn't involve tearing up the Tanger Outlets parking lot and creating a whole mess and kerfuffle. It's more just in a safe way to just run it under the ground.
But
So
there
that's why
will
it's
be
proposed.
some tearing up. The
Yes,
first squares or whatever.
right. And then we, once we're done, we immediately replace and clean up. I mean, certainly, working with Tanger as a partner, we wouldn't want to leave them.
We have a Tanger rep here tonight, and he will be monitoring us very closely.
I just want to think about if the conduit's under there, how you're gonna pack on top so that that now doesn't become all the dips all over the place, where water's gonna hang out.
Right. So we do that strategically in certain spots where it makes sense. I mean, like not putting it into like a flood zone or in the middle of the parking lot where we create issues down the road. We clean up, we reseal, et cetera.
I look at it much like when they did things here, like street lights, when they went underground and put things,
Yeah,
I mean, they didn't tear up the whole street to do it.
There's no new landscaping or anything like that, right?
We
I'm just looking so far.
Yeah, we replace, based on what was there previously. So if there was a shrub that we tore out, we would put the shrub back on top.
One of the things that, none of the pipes or construction within the wetland buffer.
Not that I'm aware of. And
Because up front, there's wetlands, the pond there.
Yeah, you guys are not touching that.
So I'd want to have that in there that wouldn't disturb within the wetland buffer.
That's fine.
that's fine.
Yep.
Yep.
So that way they can watch for it.
Sure.
Around, you're right on the edge of it, so.
Sure.
You could probably go around.
That's-
pretty easily.
Yeah, very fair.
I don't believe there are any other ones up there.
I think that's the
Yeah,
only
it's
one.
just the pond.
Eric, do you want to come up so they can hear you on the mic?
He just shook his head, we saw him.
Sure. Yeah, so the wetlands should not be impacted by this project. The only wetlands that we do have is in the front, where all of these stations are going to go, and then of course in the back, which is our butter, but there's no activity happening in the back of the building or buildings.
So do you have enough power coming into your main where your big power room is? or
They're
will
putting
have to be-
junction boxes.
Yeah,
So the feed to the main panel.
yes. So the way it works, depending the type of charging we're using. So for a level 2 charging, we go off a 208 volt system. So we line those to come directly out of the electrical room off of the existing circuits. And then for fast charging, it goes from a 480 panel. So we've aligned all those stations that are on that fast charging to that. Then they go to a power control system where it then pumps the electricity to then fund fast charging. That's all complete with a remote disconnect. All the safety measures are
Well,
met.
what I was concerned is with the power going, do you have sufficient or are you going to have to add more power from the street?
No.
to Impact that?
Right.
Other
We're not.
lines?
Nope, absolutely not.
Okay, anything else? Tom? You come?
Good.
All right, we're closer to the planning board, and I don't think we have anybody from the public on. Okay, so we're back to the planning board. All right, I'll make a motion to accept it with the conditions of the zoning board, plus the condition of not disturbing the wetland buffer in any way. Anything else?
Just add that to the construction notes that no disturbance to the wetlands or the
Sure.
wetland buffer.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, anything else?
Do you want to, what about the businesses, the business, town business advertising?
Oh.
You want to leave that to, that they come to an agreeable
Yeah,
contract with the planet, with myself or and the
I
town
think,
administrator?
yes,
yeah.
I think that's one,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
okay, go on, John.
Tell me to shut up about.
No, go on.
Yeah, it would be nice to have the town administrator and the people that do that type
Yeah.
of thing. Because she's
We don't have-
available, right?
Sure.
Since you're,
And we'll
Approval.
coordinate through Leanne.
Yeah.
She knows.
That's fine.
and then
Okay.
Yeah.
we can come to something, I guess.
Okay,
Will
so,
we have to meet again to approve that?
No, if you make it a condition that we come to an agreeable contract, but as a condition, I would think, leave it, you're given the authority to Jeannie and myself to come to an agreement. We're advertising them for a while, right? So it's up to you.
all right, so that's 3 conditions. Let me,
And you want to put, maintain the landscaping as currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the wetlands.
yeah, do
Yeah,
not,
we did the wetland.
no disturbance of the wetland buffers. Okay,
Anything else?
anything else?
If you want to make a condition that they remove all stations if they become inoperable, like at some point, how do these get, kind of like we did with
Oh, yeah, solar panels, yeah. What if something?
I was thinking that, but I
Maintenance.
think that we have somebody here that would make sure that would get done.
That's true.
I don't think you'd want them out there.
Do you want dormant ones sitting?
We
out?
don't.
No.
Yeah,
We had
I
digital
think it
screens
is
before,
so.
we got removed, so.
So we can make that in there, but
You good without that? Okay.
I think you'd be-
As long as Eric,
Give you a nice
look,
neat-
maintained,
neat there.
yeah.
Eric has to remain in perpetuity.
Yeah, okay, great.
All right, anything else?
Is there any sound that comes off?
Nope.
No sound.
No sound and no movement. They're just dormant signs. There won't be planes.
Not like the
flying
ones
across.
at the gas station where you have
Urban,
the noise and the video. No, there's none of that.
All right, so
There's
the
stationary
motion,
That's
is there a
annoying.
second?
Isn't it annoying?
Would that be something that they have no, that they do not emit sound?
You can make it a condition. I mean, that's how they presented the
And
plan.
then they'd come back if you, something changed.
No movement or sound, no animation, no sound.
All right, let me review those once more. The conditions of the zoning board plus no disturbance of the wetland buffer. Coordinate town businesses with the land use coordinator and the town administrator. Maintain landscaping. No animation, no sound. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you all very much. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
I hope it doesn't take so long to see you again. And Eric, you can never leave. You know that.
True. Definitely the spring with the storm coming on Saturday. You won't
Oh,
see us
yeah.
for a little while.
Yeah, they're saying a lot of
A
stuff.
lot of snow.
Oh, come on.
Doesn't
I think
snow
it's
here.
fun.
Start digging now. Come on.
I can't wait to use my snow.
You can't, no.
Or is that cheating? Should I be doing it
Is it
myself?
supposed to snow?
No, I have a tractor.
We'll be in touch whenever you're ready to talk about that. You guys-
I
haven't graduated.
I pay somebody to plow with their own tractor.
There you go. I haven't graduated the tractor yet, but that's next on my list.
That's something you could have.
Oh,
I would
That's
use
the
it,
investment you could
I
have.
would use it this summer for other stuff.
Use it in the summer,
Yeah, I
use it,
know.
you know, landscaping, use it.
I'm an empty nester now, so I'm thinking of doing it.
I
Yep.
definitely have that.
Life begins when the kids leave home and the dog dies. No, it's not.
Lucy's
Thank
so
you, Clyde.
cool.
Thank you. Thank you,
Lucy's
Luann.
cool. She's the third one. Yeah.
I've known all three of them. You
All
know
three
that,
of
don't
them,
you?
yeah.
All right. Next is approval of minutes for November 23rd, 2021. Everybody had an opportunity to look at them and review them. It seems so far away.
Yeah.
I don't think I was.
Who else is on the board? Just Fred?
Yeah, I don't think you were there, John. I think you,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know if
was
you were
all sick.
sick.
That was the night you forgot, I think.
Oh, you forgot. I
No,
thought you were sick.
I took a nap when I got
Oh,
home from
okay.
work and
Didn't
then
wake
woke up
up.
at 9.
Then you were up all night.
Yep. Just go sit in the chair for a
When is the first student coming in?
When is what?
First student.
I don't know. We'll have them come in for a change of use and then,
Well, it was in the minutes, that's why.
yeah.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Abstain? Okay. John, you
I'm
abstain?
abstaining, yeah.
Okay. Any other business?
I have
Just-
one.
Yeah.
I'm coming up for I'm expiring this year.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, so, because they notified me because the budget, I had to run down here during business hours, to come down and put my name on the
Yeah.
stupid board. But she said I didn't have to do that for this thing.
No,
No,
you
this is
just
an
fill out a
appointment.
form.
This is an appointment. When
Oh.
do your terms expire here? Are they,
Mine says 22. I know that.
Some meeting date.
these expire at town meeting as well? Or are they
Yeah,
June?
they get reappointed at that time. The terms go, you'd have to ask him,
Yeah,
you know, but
She looked
typically
it
But
up.
all
what
she
I,
does is fill out the form again.
no,
so
I understand. I
every
just thought,
year, what we've
planning's a little
done
different.
is in all boards and commissions after the March town meeting, we have to appoint and swear in new people,
Okay.
and then they adopt new chairman or co-chair,
okay.
and that stuff. And that all happens. the
So get
first
My
of
town was a
form
little different.
ready.
Okay, I'll get the forms the
Thank
next
you.
time.
Yeah.
Anyone who has to be up, I'll check
And
the,
then you get sworn in again.
Oh, again.
See, it's nice appointing because they don't have to be here. So they don't think by not showing up,
I don't know.
You can
That's
be
why I
made the
said,
chair.
is Fred the only one that, we don't have a lot of people on this board when I looked on.
Everybody here is who we have, so we need some more people.
Yeah.
I'm hoping maybe to be at the polls at the town meeting, maybe in another sign, see if I can get some interest there, talk to some of the people that come to
I
it.
do a sign up sheet, get some names written in pen, black
Well,
and
that,
white.
she and
I was there when they did it last
They stood
time.
outside of town hall and tried to recruit people.
Right, but
Yeah,
there
we
was
got a
like
couple
no.
from that but they came to zoning, so, but yeah, I'm gonna try that again.
Yeah.
Also,
How's Janice doing, by the way?
she's doing good. Go on video, so yeah, she's doing good. We do have, Janice, Gail is taking the minutes now. She'll be doing that permanently, so to speak. She's gonna take that on as a role, which I think is gonna work out well.
Yeah.
Gail has a lot of experience with minutes, just doesn't know the video. So that saves anybody coming here at night for additional hours. So I think she's done a pretty good job with the
I do too.
minutes.
Thank
And
you,
we
Gail.
have one, and we're hopefully will hire a technician within a couple of weeks. We've done some interviews, so hopefully we can get that through by the time we get them through the select board. But yeah, we hopefully have someone good to come and
All right.
take some of the load.
Yeah.
So
Give
it's always hard
give
finding
you a break.
part-time. Yeah. So,
All right, anything else?
No, anything big coming up or
a lot of big things. coming.
springtime
So
takes?
we'll be getting busy in the next, maybe not February, but we've got some big projects coming.
Why can't they
zoning
happen
is
after
something.
April?
Well, and maybe they will.
I'm busy.
We have some conceptual meetings and, but there are some, the dialysis center went through zoning. So that'll be coming to you. That's up at Business Park Drive. That's a really good use of that land up there. Some renovations of some commercial properties that's gonna be going on and, possibly some other projects.
What about the anchorages?
They're not ready to come forward with anything. They're just doing demos right now. They want to demo, excuse me, they're gonna demo all the cabins. They're waiting for permits from us for that. But we don't have a plan yet, so,
Permits are required for demo,
Yeah,
oh yeah, for everything, yeah.
and there's fees involved in that too.
Yes, there are.
yes, there are.
Is there inspections afterwards?
Yes, there are.
Thank you.
So the
Indeed.
Conservation Commission met with the dialysis center and made comments. Everything seemed really good and positive. I think there were, did you
Can we
get a
get an
copy of
We
it?
got a letter,
we
yes,
got
we
an
got a,
email.
Yeah.
Kathy
But
sent
just,
out the minute.
So everything was workable and,
Yeah, they really just needed it, so the medical center was allowed by special exception in the industrial zone. So they had to come to zoning for the use, and then they were putting outlet pipe in the front setback, which we weren't really sure if that was really a variance because it was drainage pipe, but just to keep things clear, they did present that. And they gave them a variance for that structure in the front setback.
they could put some underground discharge of the water as opposed to just directing it off and some other things.
And DOT weighed in on that as well, because they didn't want it in the right of way. And so, so it was a good meeting. And so they'll be bringing forward, I don't think you're gonna see it in February, but TF Moran's doing it and.
They've done a good job.
Yeah. So, yeah, so you'll be seeing some stuff in the next few months, I'm sure.
So a quorum is how many people? Just so I know during tax time when I have some emergency to get down here.
Well, we have 5 members.
Yeah, so quorum is.
So 3, as long as we only have 5 members, but, 3 isn't really a lot on a planning board to be making decisions on these projects. It really isn't fair to the other members either, because there's a burden on that. So we really should try and find a few more members.
Yeah, because my
Yeah, 6,
time
7.
would be March 15th and April 15th at the top one.
Yeah. And again, I have no idea how soon. I don't think you're gonna see any of these really big projects because they take time, right? The engineers
Yeah.
they don't even have a concept, they're just in the conceptual phase. So I would think February, March. I don't know. I mean, there's no way of me really knowing where they're at, but
Well, what I usually do,
Now-
is if it gets tight, I'll send you an email saying I'm planning on not coming, but can you text me if you need me? And I'd just come right down.
yeah.
Because I'm usually working at home.
And they might have to
If
go
it
through
happens.
zoning first, some of these bigger projects, I don't know what they might need for zoning, so that, I'll have to go to conservation zoning, something, so.
Thank you.
Thank
You got
you.
your books?
Will there be a quiz on it?
Yes,
No.
I'll go home and read.
Questions before you leave tonight?
Motion to adjourn?
Second. All in favor? Opposed?
So Gail was Gene that seconded that. So far, we